for musicians. I'm the founder and CEO of the Musicians Profit Umbrella, a global business mentorship program for musicians where we help them create six-figure leaps by uniting all of their skills into an online brand so that they can win back their time and create the financial and artistic prosperity that they deserve without sacrificing their quality of life. Today, we're talking about a topic that is super, super important and that I really think is something that musicians are oftentimes not really taught to embrace or even realize the distinction, where usually as we jump into the entrepreneurial space, our initial primary objectives are finding clients, understanding how to create a consistent revenue stream and build a steady business. But as our businesses become more stable and grow, then we need to become CEOs, really, not just musician entrepreneurs. And we need to learn how to create the right systems, how to set up a team around us, how to really use support so that we can scale in a way that isn't burnout, right? That doesn't put us in a position of burnout. Way too often, I see musicians come to me who are just completely exhausted from being the main provider for everything around the business, for having the whole business set up around them needing to be intricately involved in each and every step of the way. So today I want to show you how you should learn and aspire not only to build a team in order to scale your business, but how to create ownership mentality within your team. What does that even mean and why it's important? The first thing I want to highlight is the fact that when you hire people in your team as an entrepreneur, chances are you are an entrepreneur, a musician entrepreneur, because you want to have that freedom and flexibility of earning the amount of money that you want, right? And having that ability to create abundance without a cap, without waiting on someone giving you a promotion, right? Giving you that raise. I know that's certainly one of the reasons why I decided to step out of academia last year, because I really wanted to be able to embrace that freedom of just bringing in the wealth and prosperity on my own terms. So chances are, if you're an entrepreneur, you're doing this because of the same reasons or similar reasons. You want to have more autonomy over your income. And so guess what? If you want to be able to build an entrepreneurial organization, you're going to need to create a culture of intrapreneurs inside your entrepreneur organization. What does that mean? The more you can help your team members create their own unlimited earning potential within your organization, the better you'll be able to attract entrepreneurial-minded employees who are going to help thrive and grow the business because they have a stake in it as well, because they're going to see that the results are that they also get to grow alongside you in your company, right? So the first thing is make sure that the way you structure the earning potentials for your employees, no matter what their roles are, involves a path for them to not have a cap, whether it's through commission, through bonuses, through whatever else you can do in addition to their salaries. Give them that empowerment, empower them to have unlimited earning potential, because this will allow them to develop that ownership mentality within your team. Number two is you're going to want to involve them in profit-producing activities within their roles, whether they're working on sales or not, even if they're working in back-end operations. Your job is to help create the culture of ownership in your company so that no matter what people are doing for you, they're all intricately connected to the mission and the vision of your company, but also to the growth objectives. And so that you involve them in being aware of where the company stands, how are you doing, when it's working, when it's not working, and make them become participants, active participants of profitability. Give them opportunities to help both through front of the house activities, such as direct sales and marketing activities, or through back of the house activities, perhaps through referring clients, through helping clients with upsells, with renewals, sending them into higher level programs. Look for opportunities so that your team can support you in both fronts and have an opportunity to earn commission through the profitability of your business, right? So again, kind of drawing back from the unlimited earning potential. The third thing is that you want to make sure that no matter what role you have in your organization, you need to make sure that your team members understand their key performance indicators. This is a business term also referred to as KPIs. Not just the KPIs, meaning what are the goals that you're establishing for them to look forward to, right? To aspire to achieve within their role in your organization, but also what are going to be the critical drivers, meaning the smaller daily, weekly, monthly tasks that you're going to design for them to be able to take that step back and assess whether or not they're on the right track and determine whether or not, they need to change anything if something is not working, by them having that clearly mapped out key performance indicator and critical driver mechanism, where you not only establish the longer term vision and the goals that you want them to achieve and what the definition of success looks like in their role, but you also outline what exactly do they need to do to get there, right? What are the steps they need to take in order to be there, to get there? So understanding your KPIs and critical drivers and defining those very clearly for your team will make sure that you're all on the same page and avoid any misunderstandings. There's nothing worse than working in an environment where you have no idea whether you're meeting the goals of the company or not, where no one is giving you that clear direction of like, here's what we expect from you, right? You want to avoid getting yourself in the drive-by delegation mode where you just offload things off your plate, but you don't really follow up and give the right structure and criteria. Think of it as a rubric. We may have some educators watching, I certainly come from an academic background. I have a doctorate degree in music, and I've taught at the university setting for many years. And when we think about the concept of rubrics, right? What are rubrics? They are criteria so that when our students prepare work, submit materials, right? The evaluator, the teacher, right? The faculty member, the mentor has very clearly laid out parameters. So the students know what will help them get an A, what will help them get a B, what will help them get a C, right? What do they need to meet in order to get the best results? This is no different. It's the idea of how can you create this clear as possible. And oftentimes when you're just starting as an entrepreneur or just starting to lay out your team, that's the last thing you're worrying about. You're so overwhelmed. You're just like, oh, I can't wait to get this off my plate and just have someone take it off my plate and just like, okay, go, now do it, right? And I can totally relate to that because trust me, I've been there, right? I've run 2 businesses. I've run a brick and mortar music school that now has been 11 years in business. And I now run an online business for the last 2 years. And I always remember that at the beginning, when I hired people to join my team, I didn't really know what to do with them or how to structure their responsibilities and how to structure their duties. So if you as a leader are not clear, you can't expect your team members to have that clarity either, right? By the way, as you're watching this, let me know where you're watching me from. Let me know which of these points is the most helpful to you. What is your takeaway? And if you have any questions about this or you have a specific request of something you would like for me to share in my next weekly live show, by all means, just post it here in the comments and I'll be coming back and checking those out, okay? So the fourth and final thing I want to highlight is that the more you can help your team members through coaching rather than managing, the better relationship is going to be. There's a difference between looking at your employees' performance with a lens towards the past and looking at what they did right and what they did wrong and kind of grading that and defining like where they rank in terms of a grade, right, or parameter. That's one part of being a leader that is necessary, no doubt. But the more you can use preventative approaches in meaning being closely in communication with your team, meeting with them regularly, twice a day, even more than that during the week, have 1 or 2 meetings extra other than your mornings and evenings meetings, the more you can be involved in the production of the tasks that your team is executing so that you can help guide them and coach them on whether or not they have the right plan, they have the right implementation strategy, they're actually pointing towards the things that really matter before they actually do all the things, the better the results and the better the relationship is going to be with your team. Your job is not just to take things off your plate or look at what has already happened and give feedback after the fact. Your job as a CEO is to understand that your visionary leadership needs to be infused in every area of the work you do with your team. And the more you can help them set the right goals ahead of time and know what are the right steps they need to take to execute those goals. And then, yes, of course, recap with them after the fact and see what they did right, what they didn't do right, help them reflect on what worked, what didn't, and how they can improve, what they need to do best, in a next opportunity. That's all great. But just embracing the role of coach. If you want to have a great team, if you want to build your dream team, if you want to help them really be key players in your organization, your job is to be the CEO who also coaches your team in getting the results that you want. And let me tell you, this is a learning journey. This is a learning journey, just like anything else, just like when you learn to play your instrument. You had to master, there was a repetitions and strategy and failing and going back and trying it again and then succeeding and then failing after that again. I think it's this whole journey. Leadership and management of people is no different. Like, you actually need to recognize that the more you can like understand the principles of powerful leadership and take the role as CEO as one that is something that needs to be embraced and learned upon, not something that you're expected to have, right? Have grace on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you haven't been doing any of this, that's okay, right? We all start somewhere, but it's just a matter of you making the conscious decision that you're not just going to just try to manage people without having these clear strategies in place. I can assure you that if you apply these 4 things, I'm going to recap them real quick one more time. Number 1 is make sure they have an unlimited earning potential through working with you in some way. Even though they have a salary, they should have another vehicle that gives them that unlimited earning potential that allows them to grow based on their efforts, right? Involve them in profit producing activities, no matter what their role is. Find a way for them to be intricately involved in growing the profitability for your company. It should not all rely on you. Number 3, understand what the key performance indicators are and the critical drivers. Make sure you communicate to your team what will success look like in their role and what are the steps they need to take to get that result. Make sure you define that ideally since the beginning of your relationship, and then periodically check back on those every week, every month, every quarter, right? Every 3 months. Make sure you're coming back to these evaluations because it's going to help you all make sure you're on the same page. And number 4 is make sure that you regularly support your team members as a coach and you work with them in the production phase of their role, not in the evaluation phase at the end. Work with them as they are implementing the things, coach them, oversee them, have them send you a quick message during the day, letting you know what they're working on, make sure they're on the right page, coach them to success. Don't just manage them to success. I hope this helps. Let me know if this is, something that you haven't been thinking about yet, and hopefully it'll help you with all the work that you're doing as a CEO, musician, entrepreneur. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next live show. Let's prosper together.